Cock teases are among the worst women. Oh yeah. Cock teases should be avoided at all costs. Now, in my experience, I've noticed that cock teases tend to endure through time, if you will. It's not that a girl is necessarily a cock tease, you know, on and off, or with certain guys and other guys she's not. No. It tends to be that the cock tease is a particular girl, and she is like that with everyone, okay? And, well, you gotta avoid them. That's the bottom line. Now, what's a cock tease, okay? A cock tease should not be confused with a girl who is not willing to have sex with you, okay? A girl who decides that she's just not gonna have sex with you or with anybody, a girl who's just, you know, a girl with good morals, okay? A girl who is perhaps a virgin, or if she's not a virgin, she has had very, very few sexual partners. I'm talking one or two. And, you know, she's dating you and all the rest of it. And, you know, there's a little, you know, feeling each other up and stuff like that. But when it gets to the moment, she's very clear on her boundaries. No, that's not a cock tease. A cock tease is a very, very different animal. A cock tease is a girl who will come to the doorstep of having sex and will then pull back. And then she'll withdraw her consent if you want to get all PC about it. Yeah, she's the kind of girl who will get you not only all hot and bothered, she will get herself half naked or completely naked. She will get you to the point where you're about to have sex, and then she'll say, no. You got to be careful with this girl, because you see, there are some girls, most girls as a matter of fact, who just before sex, you need to give them a little extra little psychological push over the cliff, okay? A lot of times, some girls, not all girls, but many girls, will be, you know, at the doorsteps of having sex, and they'll have just a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of whatever, especially if they've had relatively few sexual partners, right? But a cock tease is different, because she never intended to have sex with you. That's the key difference. Yeah, because see, cock teases get off on getting you all hot and bothered. Getting you all hot and bothered, thinking that you're gonna have sex, and then at the very last minute, withdrawing consent. Oh yeah. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of guys get into trouble with cock teases. A lot of guys sort of like, you know, they figure that it's this last minute hesitation. No. A cock tease, in her mind, has withdrawn consent, and she might not be particularly vocal about the fact that she doesn't want to have sex, right? But she will later use the fact that you had sex and say that you raped her. Oh yeah. This happens all the time. I mean, all the fucking time. Okay, there are fucking novels that have been written about this shit, okay? Go read Hawthorne and what have you. See, there are lots of girls who are cock teases, who get off on the power of getting a guy really, really excited, and they withdraw consent at the last minute. And sometimes the guy is just a little bit confused, doesn't quite understand. He thinks that she's just teasing him or fucking around with him, and he just proceeds to have sex with her. And she will just lay there, not actively participating in the sexual encounter. And she will consider it rape. And good men have been destroyed by the allegations of cock teases. Okay? And this is no laughing matter. This is dead serious. And that's why a cock tease is so fucking dangerous. Because, see, her thing, her mental whatever, is getting you off, getting you excited, but retaining the power. Because she sees sex not as a mechanism of enjoyment, not as a way to bind herself closer to a man. She sees sex as a way to control and dominate the guy. Dominate the guy and frustrate him. And if he actually has sex with her, she will take that next step and claim that the sexual encounter was rape. And this happens all the time. How do I know this? Well, because I myself fell victim to a cock tease back in the day. All right? This was a girl whom I knew when I was 20. Yeah, 20. And she was 2 or 3 years younger than me, something like that. She was 18, 17, something like that. And she was, you know, very beautiful, very, very beautiful. Daughter of a single mother. That should have been a fucking clue. But anyway, she was very attractive, very everything going for her, right? And I was just crazy about her. And we literally got naked. I mean, we really got to the doorsteps of having sex. I mean, just naked, right? And at the last minute, she's like, no, I don't think we should. And I was like, oh, come on, you know, and she's like, no, we should. And that's when I realized something clicked in my head. And I realized that this girl got off on this, okay? Because this wasn't actually it was her first practically sexual encounter, but it wasn't the first time that we'd been fooling around and I get really, really hot and she like backed away. But this was as close to sex as we'd ever gotten. And it wasn't that she was hesitating. There was something in her attitude or something that clued me in. It was like this moment of illumination on my part where I realized she gets off on this. This is what she wants. And it's always going to be like this. And I was lucky enough to break it off with her then. And here's the funny part. You see, the same girl, this was in Chile, right? This happened when I was about 20 or perhaps 21. I moved away to the States. I did college. I did this, that, the other. I was back in Chile, and this was around 2004. I was 36, okay? And we hooked up again. She was 32, 33, something like that. And we hooked up again. We went out to dinner and the whole thing, and then we go back to my place and she pulls the same stunt again. And the funny thing was that, see, when I ran into her the second time, I kind of like forgotten what had happened the first time. Yeah, you know, because, you know, it's a lot of water under the bridge, if you will, right? And so when I ran into her, you know, what was it, like 13 years later, I run into her, you know, out of clear blue, and we go to dinner and we had a great time and we clicked like that. And then we go back to my place and we start fooling around, and it gets to the moment of, I mean, once again, we were practically naked, okay? And she pulls this stunt again. And I was like, fuck, I'd forgotten. Yeah, cock teases never change. Yeah. And what I was telling you before about how a cock tease can pull away consent and call you a rapist, rather. Not racist, rapist. Well, that story, that happened to another guy I knew. Oh yeah, that happened to another guy I knew in Chile, okay? And thankfully, he wasn't crucified in the court of law, okay? Because there were certain extenuating circumstances. To tell you the truth, I forgot the exact details of it. But it was enough that, you know, before it went to trial, the prosecutors were like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. And it was just some weird sexual encounter, but it wasn't rape. And so we're just going to toss it out because there's no evidence to convict this guy. And on top of that, my friend who I talked to, and we had dinner one time with his lawyer about this whole issue, he told me that the lawyer told me that even the prosecutor knew that there was something wrong here, okay? Yeah, it was a girl who just liked this shit, liked the attention, okay? And I saw it firsthand with this guy I knew, okay? And so, yeah, you just stay away from them. The problem, of course, is that it's hard to identify these women. I mean, they're not walking around with a sign saying, I'm a cock tease. No, it doesn't work that way, right? But, once you have identified her as a cock tease, and more often than not, it'll be, like I said, you will be at the doorsteps of having sex. It's not like a normal girl who's, you know, a little bit reluctant to have sex, you know, on the first couple of dates, you know, no. The cock tease will take you to the very doorstep of sex, and more likely than not in a first or second date, okay? She will take you to that doorstep of having sex, pull away consent at the very last minute, and you'll realize who she is. Now, the fact of the matter is, such a girl is extremely seductive because it's not that she wants to connect with you. What she wants is to get you hot and bothered. And that's why she's so seductive. Her whole plan, whether it's conscious or not, is to get you really, really hot and bothered. Really, really into her. Really, really wanting to have sex, right? So it's not that she is connecting with you, she is manipulating you. And that's why they are such a pernicious element in your life. So they're so destructive because they're manipulative, because they have a psychodrama of their own, a psychodrama that you are going to play out for her amusement. And if the game goes wrong, you could wind up in jail. That's why you never mess with a cock tease. The second you identify that she's a cock tease, you're gone. You just fucking leave. Because there's nothing to be gained with her. She will change herself to attract you so that you dance to the tune that she's playing. And it will be a fucking nightmare for you. So take my advice. The very moment you realize that she's a cock tease, no matter how attractive she is physically, no matter how interesting you might think that she is, no matter this, that, the other, no. The second you realize this, leave her.